That's right, my friends. Today, we are going to be massive nerds. We are going to be wrestling geeks. Because even though it's like August, September 2022, I want a fantasy book next year's WrestleMania now that Triple H is in charge. And people always go crazy about these videos, but the point of them is to have fun and to remember that being a fan and speculating is the greatest thing in the world. So sit down, join me, leave a comment with your own ideas, and let's do exactly that and try and figure out what's going to happen in April 2023. In at number 12, it will be an Intercontinental title match between Wesley, Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, and Cameron Grimes. Because let's face it, one Paul Levesque absolutely loved wrestlers that can put on a good show, and he absolutely loved wrestlers that can do the flippy dippy stuff, but he also liked characters. When you look at all those four people I just mentioned, you can kind of put them in a blender and I suppose create Triple H's perfect wrestler. And sure, at the moment, Cameron Grimes and Wesley haven't made their way up to the main roster, but Triple H is currently firing people from down there onto Monday and Fridays as if there's no tomorrow. We've already seen that Ricochet is in line for a push because he recently beat Happy Corbin like 72 million times, and you can just smell it in the air. Mustafa Ali is about to get something, and you damn right, he's really, really good. It's also just one of those matches that you could put on WrestleMania and everybody would walk away clapping because it would be excellent. And you would get just crazy moves and aerial somethings and people going really, really fast. Let's not pretend otherwise. Not all wrestling should be like this, but should some of it? Yes. In at number 11, Bron Breakker versus Damian Priest. Let's name a few names. Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, everybody who was in the Undisputed Era. Do you know what they all have in common? They came into NXT, Triple H looked to them and said, man, I'm gonna turn you into a star. And from their very first match till their last, under his chargement, he lived up to that promise. So it's quite clear that he feels the same about Bron Breakker, so he's absolutely going to make his way to the main roster. But another one of his boys is none other than Damian Priest. And as Damo was shown in Judgment Day, he's a really good heel. Bron just screams babyface. He's like Goldberg or his daddy Rick Steiner, and just, oh my gosh, I'm so strong. You're going to love me. So why wouldn't you have them collide at the biggest stage of them all, so both of them can walk away feeling like bigger stars? And you want to get super stupid with it as well. Let's say we get to the Royal Rumble. Bron Breakker debuts there. I don't know, he beats the elimination record and he throws out Damian Priest, but Priest is so mad and so like, oh, I'm in Judgment Day now. He returns to the ring. He throws out Breakker, even though that makes no sense, but we do it every year, so we may as well keep doing it, which allows them to feud for a few months, which culminates at the Show of Shows. Bron Breakker wins, and then probably within the next 12 months, he's the WWE champion, because why the flub not? We could be dead tomorrow, let's get things done. Number 10, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, do I need to say anything else? The answer is no, I don't. Triple H did this around about 850 times down in NXT, and to be honest, every single one of them was at the very least pretty damn good, so why wouldn't you allow them to have this moment on the biggest stage that WWE has? I mean, we did it with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, kinda, but not really, so why not do it with these two guys and also show a brand new audience what they're made of? I'm actually going to close my mouth. I'm not saying anymore. Number 9, Edge versus Karrion Kross. I mean, it's quite clear that Karrion Kross remains a project for Triple H, to the point, even though he recently returned to Raw, he had a match on SmackDown, and the commentators are all like, oh my gosh, Karrion is making his debut. I was in the background going, nope. He made his debut against Jeff Hardy, but as has been made perfectly clear, take that out your brain and eat it. So if that is the case, over the next few months, he is absolutely going to smash it with his TikTok sandglass shamanadig. But when it comes to WrestleMania, I don't think you want him going for a championship. I think you want him to go on a hunt and say that my prey and my target is a Hall of Famer and a veteran. And who better to do that with Edge, who has spent the last couple of years saying, I want to work with this young guy, I want to work with that new guy. Well, who is newer than Karrion Kross? That bit didn't make any sense, but I actually think this would be a pretty good match between the old guard and the new guard, and if Karrion Kross beats the rated R superstar, well, he can ride that for months. Edge is also so smart and so good at coming up with matches, and he understands his character brilliantly. So much like Mick Foley did back in the day, I actually think that Adam Copeland would be in a tremendous position to elevate Kross and get him to where he needs to be. Number 8, Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch. I mean, it certainly seems like this was going to happen even before Vince McMahon left, but when it comes to the game, one thing he has proven over and over again is that if something makes sense, he's going to go and do it. That's not a bad thing. As DDP used to say, that's a good thing. 9 times out of 10, the reason it is logical is because it's what you should be doing. Let's not forget that we haven't seen Becky and Ronda touch since WrestleMania 35, when Becky Lynch was able to win both championships. And I don't even care if you do have a title on the line this time. Their promos alone and tying into their history would be enough for me to buy in. So let's just make it happen. And ultimately, let's give the win to the man. I don't see how else you do it. Number 7, Bianca Belair versus Asuka. Now I am going to go out on a limb here, but I kind of think that Triple H has the same thought process as most fans, or at least most hardcore fans. And when you do go through the roster and you see Bianca Belair's name, do you know who else comes to mind? That's right, it's Asuka, because I just want them to begin with a 20-minute match at the granddaddy of them all, because I think they will absolutely kill it. You also have to remember how well Asuka was booked down in NXT. And look, I'm going to go out on a whim here. No, I am not saying that Bianca should turn. I am saying that the Empress of Tomorrow should. Like, she's been a babyface on the main roster for around about a millennia, so why don't we reset the persona and have some fun with it? And don't come into my house using this door and tell me Asuka can't do it, because I've seen her done it before and she can. Bianca Belair is also on a tear when it comes to WrestleMania matches, so let's make her the brand new Undertaker. So many times people look at the male roster going, oh man, who can follow the dead man? Well, I have come up with a solution, and their name is Bianca Belair. Obviously, I mean, she's an EST for a reason. Number 6, Drew McIntyre versus Gunther. This one basically ties into the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view. I was so excited to see Sheamus and Gunther go at it. Now I want to kind of do the same with the Europeans. I want to reel in Drew McIntyre. It also actually ties back into Survivor Series 2019, if you can believe it, because these two did go at it, and someone decided it would be a good idea for Drew to out-chop Gunther, or Walter as he was then, I guess because it would be a bit of a ha-ha, funny. Well, I would use this, I would book the match for WrestleMania, and I just have them kick the absolute shit out of each other, to the point I don't even care who wins, because the real victor is me. Also, to be honest with you, Triple H just obviously loves these two guys, so you're probably gonna do it. Number 5, Kevin Owens versus Floyd Mayweather. That's right, we are getting absolutely stupid up in here now, but if we're not gonna have some fun and make some bold predictions, what is the point? But this really comes down to the relationships that Triple H has had, and if you go through his social media, him and Floyd are like this. You're also always going to have a celebrity at WrestleMania. WWE has proved that for years now. So why not ring up Floyd and say, look, last time when you did this against the Big Show, it was like this weird exhibition. We can put you against Kevin Owens, who is like the best dude in the entire business at protecting anybody and hiding their weaknesses and enhancing their strengths. Because don't forget what he did this year. He made Steve Austin look like he was 32 years old. Also, Floyd was really good back at WrestleMania 24, and his name still carries huge value. So if we are gonna get the crazy cannon and start firing it, why not do this? Also, let's not pretend otherwise. If you do put Owens in this position, his star outside of the WWE is going to grow. Anything that helps KO is alright by me. Number 4, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins in a WWE title match. Now this is going on the assumption that The Rock is going to be available so he can take on Roman Reigns, because if we can't do that, I think Cody should be the one to dethrone the head of the table. But if that does all go to plan, then damn it, we gotta do Seth and Rhodes round 4. This would also open the door for Rollins to become the WWE champion at some point over the next 6 months, which he totally deserves. And somehow, even though these guys have already had 3 matches, I'd be well down for another, even more so if the American Nightmare beats Seth to become the champ, because not only is that, oh my gosh, he did it moment, but poor Rollins, he's probably gonna go and start to cry. And look, yes, I know, everyone keeps going, well, Cody Rhodes isn't gonna be treated very well now that Triple H is in charge. Absolute poppycock. He ain't an idiot, he ain't a fool, he knows the better he treats Cody, the more likely other AEW guys are gonna jump ship. Also, Rhodes has already smashed it and he's gonna continue to doing so, everything's gonna be fine. Which brings us to number 3, Roman Reigns versus The Rock for the Universal title. I mean, there's been a bunch of more rumors about this recently, with Roman even coming out and saying, well, right now it's even closer than it was before. And also, The Rock is on borrowed time. Like, he's already 50 years old. So if we get to next year, he's going to be 51, and the year after that, 52. And there will be a limit to this. Wrestling is really hard. Also, if Dwayne Johnson does have an opening in his schedule, it's probably best just to get this done. Because who the hell knows where he's going to be in 12 months? Probably releasing a brand new Under Armour shoe. It's also money, and it will also draw a massive buy rate. Let's not pretend that The Rock isn't one of the biggest stars in the world, because he is, and quite clearly Reigns wants to get into acting sooner or later. So not only does this allow The Rock to have the send-off that he wants, but it opens the door for Reigns to step through. I just think it ticks a lot of boxes. The build to this will also be absolutely epic, because our tribal chief has come into his own recently. And once again, The Rock is The Rock. I'm just going to keep saying that. So many people out there are like, no, I don't want no part-timer coming back. It's not a part-timer, it's the biggest guy in Hollywood. Stands to reason you probably want him involved. Which brings us to a different one with number 2, and this rhymes. What does Brock Lesnar do? Now, we know that he can't work with Roman Reigns unless The Rock is unavailable, and I bet somebody backstage goes, oh, I've got an idea. We can do Brock versus Roman again. And if that does happen, I think I'm going to have to cut off my own head. But what we should really do is not only move away from that, but move away from the idea that Lesnar even cares about world championships, and start booking him in matches that we never actually thought we'd see. For example, do you remember when he had those tete-a-tetes back with Sami Zayn on SmackDown? They were so good and instantly made me go, well, I've never seen Sami Zayn versus the Beast, so why don't we try that? And of course, Sam is going to get absolutely annihilated, but look what he did with that Jackass match. The dude is a genius. It may also be the perfect way to turn Zayn into the babyface he was back in NXT. And as I've been crowing about on this channel ever since it has been hinted, I think we should be doing that sooner rather than later, because even though he is a badass heel, ain't nobody as sympathetic as him. And if you don't want to do that, I would get to the proper Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley contest, because we kind of skirted around that one. But this time, just give them 8 minutes, allow them to punch each other right in the face, do some German suplexes, and then have a clean winner. And really, Bob should win that one. It's time for Brock to start giving back. Which leaves us at number 1, the miscellaneous pitches. What I mean by that is what we're going to do with the rest of the roster, but something you can absolutely be confident in is that the tag team titles and the secondary belts will actually be treated with importance at the next WrestleMania, because in the month that Triple H has been in charge, he has just been waving his flag. Good for him, it's the right thing to do. So with that in mind, I would do one last contest between the Usos and the New Day for those championships, but this time make it a ladder match, because if you can believe it, we've never done that before. And we still have the whole RK Bro situation to sort out, so let's do Riddle versus Randy Orton, maybe for the IC or US championships. You could also finally do Sasha Banks versus Bayley on WrestleMania, and once again, don't forget who's pulling the shots and who he likes, so that could be epic. And then we just have a ton of names. I mean, there's Happy Corbin, there's Charlotte Flair, there's the Viking Raiders, there's The Miz, there's AJ Styles, there's Bobby Roode, who is still missing in action. I mean, we could do this all day. Speaking of the phenomenal one, though, I would actually call somebody down from NXT to give them a big wow match on the card. And right now, the dude I would pick would be Nathan Frazier, because I can only assume that Styles doesn't have that many more manias left in him. And if these two went at it, well, you're not going to be able to see anything, because it's just going to be so fast. So there you go, my friends. There are just some random and ridiculous ideas about what Triple H may do at WrestleMania, but what's much more important is that you tell us yours down in the comments below. Then don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where you can read yourself some articles. Please do come follow us on social media, and we have a lot of videos, some featuring my dumb face. Keep away from those ones, but what's the rest? My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you very much for watching me as always. And yes, I know this was utterly nonsensical, but these are my favorite videos to make because it gets me all excited in my tum-tum. You should try it sometime. Goodbye.